All right, let's dive right into a concept from the very edge of physics that doesn't just mess with what you know, it messes with the idea of you altogether.
So let's start with a question that sounds almost childishly simple, but trust me, the answer, or really the lack of an answer, is what opens up this whole mind-bending rabbit hole.
I mean, really think about it for a second. Every single thing that proves your life happened, your first day of school, your last birthday, even the fact that you decided to watch this explainer, where does it all exist? It's just a pattern of connections in your brain, right here, in this very moment. You can't go back and check the past. All you have is your memory of it, right now.
Okay, so why is that little fact a huge problem? Well, to get it, we need to talk about one of the most fundamental rules of the entire universe, the second law of thermodynamics.
Entropy is basically a fancy word for disorder, or chaos. It's why your rim gets messy on its own, but never cleans itself. It's why an egg will scramble, but you'll never see a scrambled egg just pop back into a perfect shell. The universe, at its core, is lazy. It always moves toward the most chaotic, disordered, high-entropy state it can find.
So, let's play a game. If the only thing the universe needs to accomplish is to create your consciousness right this second, what's the path of least resistance? Is it the really, really hard way, building a whole, orderly universe over 13.8 billion years? Or is it the shortcut, just making the one thing required for this moment to exist, a single conscious brain?
And that's the statistical trap. You see, a small, random blip of order is exponentially, ridiculously more likely to happen than a gigantic one. It is just so much easier for random particles to bump into each other and form one brain than it is for them to form an entire universe full of galaxies and planets and people.
And if you follow that statistical logic all the way down, it leads to one of the most profoundly weird ideas in all of modern cosmology.
It's called a Boltzmann brain, named after the physicist Ludwig Boltzmann. The idea is that a complete conscious brain could just pop into existence from a chaotic void, totally by random chance, already packed with a lifetime of memories that never actually happened.
So how in the world could that even happen? Well, if you have an infinite amount of time and space, like in a high-entropy universe, then anything that can happen will happen. It's not just possible, it's inevitable. Particles will randomly form every possible combination. And one of those combinations is, you guessed it, a brain that looks and thinks exactly like yours does right now.
And here's the real kicker. For that brain, in that fleeting moment of its existence, everything would feel completely real. The memories of growing up, learning about physics, even the memory of deciding to listen to this explainer, it would all feel totally authentic, a perfect, self-contained hallucination.
Okay, but this is where the argument gets really weird, because the whole thing starts to collapse in on itself, like a snake eating its own tail.
So here's the problem. Our best models of the universe, especially the ones that say it will expand forever, predict a future that's just a vast, empty, chaotic void. And in that void, these random fluctuations would create Boltzmann brains, not just once in a while, but all the time. These should vastly outnumber normal observers like us, who took the long and complicated evolutionary path.
So if you just play the odds, if our current physics is right, the most probable explanation for your existence isn't that you're a human on Earth. It's that you are a temporary, random fluctuation in an empty void. Yeah. Try sleeping with that thought tonight.
But hang on a second. If you are a Boltzmann brain, then all that knowledge you have, the laws of thermodynamics, the cosmology that led you to this terrifying conclusion, it's all just part of the fake implanted memories. You can't trust your own reasoning.
This is the paradox in a nutshell. The physicist Sean Carroll calls this cognitive instability. Basically, any theory that leads you to conclude you're a Boltzmann brain instantly destroys its own foundation. The theory invalidates the very reasoning you used to get there. It's what's known as a reductio ad absurdum, an argument that proves itself wrong by leading to an absurd conclusion.
So, if we're not just disembodied brains having a momentary hallucination, and let's really hope we're not, then why do scientists take this idea so seriously?
Because the point of the Boltzmann brain isn't to say that we are hallucinations. The point is that it's a giant, flashing red light on the dashboard of cosmology. It's a powerful test. Any theory about the universe that ends up predicting a cosmos full of these phantom brains must have a serious flaw in it somewhere.
The Boltzmann brain is like the canary in the cosmic coal mine. It signals that there's something deeply wrong or incomplete with our understanding of things like eternal inflation, or how to even count observers in a possible multiverse. The goal for physicists isn't to prove that Boltzmann brains exist. The goal is to create theories that avoid them entirely.
And really, that's the huge question this paradox leaves us with. It forces us to admit that our nice, neat story of the universe, from the Big Bang until today, probably has a massive piece missing. What that piece is, well, figuring that out is one of the biggest mysteries in all of science.